Pierre Teilhard de Chardin said, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. I know this to be true. So it's not like you can go out seeking a spiritual life. You already are one. And the real job is for you to become aware of the soul's calling and the spirit that resides in, above, around, and through you. And be about the business of fulfilling that. There is no one else in creation like you. There's nobody like you. And what you've come to do and what you have to offer is like no other, even if they're all doing the same thing. I met a bunch of people today majoring in human biology. I go, ooh, a lot of human biologists coming out of Stanford. A lot of great ones. And although everybody's in the same class doing very similar things, no one brings the level of uniqueness and authenticity that you can bring. Nobody does it like you. And understanding that what you have to offer, what you've come to give to the planet, is your gift, your offering in a way that nobody else can, and how much that matters. It matters to you, it matters to the people that you love, and it matters to our planet that you are here. It's just, you know, it's a miracle. It's a miracle that we get to be here. And when I think of my life and the fact that nobody really kind of wanted me in the beginning, my father had sex with my mother one time. Can you imagine? That was a powerful seed. Woo, honey child. But one time. And he wasn't in love with her. He said she was wearing a poodle skirt and he wanted to know what was up under there. And she showed him by an oak tree. Now I got a yard full of oaks. I know that's where it all started. And to think that something as random as my mother's poodle skirt and my father walking out the door at that time, she'd had her eye on him for a while, so she was working it. To think that something as random as that would create a little Negro child in Mississippi who grew up and had and has had and continues to have the opportunities that I've had, that is, I can assure, that is nothing but grace. It's grace. It's grace because I was allowed to step into the flow of it and let it carry me to this moment. And I'm not telling you what to believe or who to believe or what to call it, but there is no full life, no fulfilled, meaningful, sustainably joyful life without a connection to the Spirit. I haven't seen it happen. And the way for sustainability is through practice. You must have a spiritual practice. What is yours? Well, for some people, it is going to church, and that's where they nurture themselves. I believe that creativity, artful expression, prayer, conscious kindness, empathy, consistent compassion, gratitude, all spiritual practices in the way of becoming more of who you are. So I started a gratitude journal. I mean, when I was journaling since actually I was standing here in 1970. I actually have in my journal about visiting Stanford and what it meant to come here as an orator. And for years, all of my journals were filled with, he doesn't love me, I can't believe she did that to me, and this is what happened today. And about the late 80s, someone introduced the idea of a gratitude journal to me. Gratitude journaling has become a spiritual practice that leads to a more enhanced and meaningful life, and you can start it today. And you can, I guarantee, if you did it for a week, you would see a difference. Because every day, and I'll do it when I go home, 5 things I write down that I am grateful for, or that brought me joy, or opened my heart space. And by practicing gratitude, what you realize is that you wake up in the morning thinking about what are those 5 things going to be, because some days there's only 3. And then you have to take a breath, inhale, that's 1, exhale, that's 2. Okay? I made my 5, that's all I got today. So practicing gratitude in a way that allows you to take stock of your life. That's why it's a spiritual practice, because you're now taking stock of your life. You're assessing where you are spiritually. And in order to maintain a sense of growing yourself forward, it requires also being in a place of knowing that after you've done all that you can, there's a wonderful song by Donnie McClurkin. It says, you just stand. There comes a time in everybody's life when you've actually done all that you can do and you really want something so badly, but it still isn't coming forward for you in a way that you feel that it should. I know that what is for you will come to you. I know that for sure. And I know that many times when it appears that something is happening to you, it is always, always happening for you, to strengthen you. Because my definition of power is strength over time. Strength times strength times strength times strength. So I'll leave you with my favorite story. I said this today about the color purple. It's one of my favorite stories because it changed the meaning of my life and changed the trajectory of my life. First of all, when I was doing the color purple, I'd just come to Chicago and started a show called AM Chicago. And I'd asked my bosses for the time off. And I needed 2 months to do the color purple. And they said to me, you don't have 2 months. Your contract says you only get 2 weeks a year. So in order for us to give you the time off, you're going to have to give up your remaining time on your contract to do the color purple. I wanted to do it so badly that I said, all right, I'll give up the next 5 years of my contract in order to do it. What happened was after the color purple, after I filmed the color purple, and the Oprah show was so successful, becoming so successful, it was actually still called AM Chicago, the bosses at my channel wanted to renegotiate the contract. And my lawyer at the time said, remember the color purple. You never want to be in a position where something is that important to you to do, and you can't do it because the boss says you can't. You want to be able to own yourself and make your own decisions about what's important to you to do, and that was something that's really important to you. So the fact that I had not been allowed the time for the color purple is the reason why I made the decision to take the risk to own my own show. And that has made all the difference in the trajectory of my career. But let me try to shorten this color purple story, because it changed the trajectory of my life. I wanted to be in the color purple more than anything I've ever wanted in my life. I read the book on a Sunday. I got up, went back to the bookstore, went back to the bookstore, got every other copy of the book. I passed it out to everybody I knew. I was clearly obsessed about the color purple. People see me come and go, here she comes, talking about the color purple. Here she come again. I literally would walk around with it in a backpack. I see all these backpacks. Y'all are loaded down here. I would walk around with it in a backpack in case I ran into somebody who hadn't read it. And I'd say, oh, you haven't read it? I have one right here. And as life would have it, because you're always drawing things to you, you're drawing energy to you. Out of nowhere, supposedly, coincidence, no such thing, but I get a call from a casting agent saying that they're casting for this movie called The Color Purple. This movie called Moonsong. And I said, are you sure it's not The Color Purple? And he said, no, it's called Moonsong, because at the time Steven Spielberg didn't want anybody to know he was shooting The Color Purple. So I go and audition for the movie. I can't believe that God has allowed this to happen, because I am auditioning with a character named Harpo. Do y'all know Harpo is Oprah spelled backwards? I think that is a direct sign from Jesus. That not only am I now auditioning, I'm auditioning with somebody named Harpo. Amazing. When all I'd really asked God, I'd said, God, please help me get in this movie. Help me get in this movie. I don't know anybody in the movies. I'm in Chicago doing a show called AM Chicago. I thought I could be, script girl, best boy, whatever, the last credit on the movie. Bottom line is, a long time passed. I call up the agent, and the agent said, you don't call us, we call you. And I didn't call you. I hung up the phone. I was so upset. I decided to go to a fat farm. And I'm going to lose the weight. That's what they call them at the time. I'm going to the fat farm. I'm going to starve myself, because now all the weight is caught up with me. I know they hate me because I'm fat. I said, I'm going to go and I'm going to lose weight. And I'm going to try to release this obsession that I have with The Color Purple. I'm going to try to let that go, because now much time has passed. And I am on the track, running around the track, and I can hear my thighs rubbing together. And I start crying because, oh gosh, now my thighs are rubbing together and it's raining and my hair is getting wet. So I started to pray, and I'm praying and I'm crying, and I'm asking God, God, please help me let this go. I'm obsessed, I want it. Reuben Cannon had told me that real actresses had auditioned for that part, and that I wasn't a real actress, and that Alfred Woodard had just left his office. So I thought, for sure, Alfred Woodard's gonna get that part. And I'm running around the track praying and crying. And the way prayer works is you could pray, but if you don't release it, if you don't surrender it, it goes nowhere. It's just you talking to yourself. So I started singing this song. Do you know the song? I surrender all. I surrender all to thee, my blessed Savior, I surrender all. I sang and I prayed and I cried until I could release the pain, the suffering of the rejection that Reuben Cannon had caused me by telling me that I don't call you. And then I realized, oh, I'm still carrying it around, so I won't be able to go to see the movie, so I'm going to now pray that I can bless Alfred Woodard in the movie. Let me bless Alfred Woodard so I'll be able to go see this movie. I start singing again. I surrender all. Please don't let me have now a grudge against Alfred Woodard, who took my movie. Let me have peace in my heart about that. So I pray, until I'm singing, I surrender all. A woman comes out and says to me that there's a phone call for you. And in that phone call, I was told, next day, show up in Steven Spielberg's office. And if you lose a pound, you could lose this part. So I stopped at the Dairy Queen. But the point of the story is surrender. And the point of the story is, I thought I could just be a, script girl, best girl, whatever. I was just happy to be anywhere in the film. The point of the story is God can dream, the universe can dream, your creation can dream, the flow of your life can dream, has a bigger plan and a bigger dream for you than you can ever even imagine for yourself. When I finished The Color Purple, Quincy Jones said to me, "Baby, your future is so bright it burns my eyes." And I say the same thing to all of you, you Stanford students, with this amazing gift to be at this institution and let your light so shine, your brilliance. Your future's so bright, it burns my eyes. The glory that the universe, God has in store for you is unimaginable to you. You can't even imagine it. You can't even imagine it. If you will surrender that which is yourself in alignment with the greater self and allow yourself to become a part of the force of all. Take your glory. It's waiting for you. And run with it. Thank you.